Hey guys, so for today's story we have an adoption story, but we're going to talk about the birth mom side of this story instead of the birth father. So welcome to Client Stories with Amy. So our client was born in California, and some of the records for California are not the greatest. They are a closed record state, which means if somebody was adopted and they want to go find their original birth certificate or records, they're completely sealed and you have to get a judge's signature to unseal those. They are able to get their non-identifying information paperwork, but again, there's a few limitations to that too. So our client did what most people who were adopted do when they're trying to find their biological families and they don't have access to the original birth certificates or their adoption records, is they do a DNA test. And so our client did the DNA test, waited on pins and needles, sees all of these names, and she just breaks down. She's like, I've never seen anybody from my blood, my biological family. I've never met anybody, and here is a whole list of names of like 20,000 people that are related to me. And she just lost it, completely bawled her eyes out, and she had to step away and she couldn't look at it for another week. People do not realize how emotional this journey is for somebody who doesn't know anything. And this is a clear case of the emotions involved in this. She was super excited, so hopeful, and then she sees all of these names of people related to her and she just loses it and breaks down. She just can't handle all of those emotions at once. It was just too much, and it's understandable. Like, if you've never ever known anybody biologically related to you other than your child, it's a lot. So we get the case, we get everything sorted, we get her information, and we identify the birth mother's line pretty quickly. And we know this is the birth mother's line because when we get to the grandparent line, there's only 2 daughters, no sons. If there had been sons, it would have been literally 50-50. Either this is the mom's line or the dad's line. But in this case, we get lucky and they only had daughters, and so this is why we were able to prove that this is the mom's line. We ended up getting her some contact information for both of these women and for their children, and so she reaches out. She reaches out to the first lady, and the first lady ends up being her aunt. She says, we have waited and looked for you for so long, and we always celebrated you. Your mom couldn't take care of a child at that point in time. She just didn't have any support or any help. I was in the room with you when you were born, and I cut your cord, and we all cried and cried and cried when she signed those papers to place you for adoption. And when the social services came, she says, I've never let that vision of you leaving with the social services in my entire life. And mind you, this has been 40 years, and this aunt has held on to that image in her brain and relived it over and over again over the course of 40 years of social services taking that baby from the family. So that was a little bit of context that our clients had gotten, that she was wanted and that she was loved and that she is remembered. And so it made her a little bit stronger and more courage when she reached out to her biological mom. Before this, it took so much coaching and encouraging her to go ahead and make that step to reach out. She wanted to reach out, she really wanted to, but she was scared of rejection. And so we kind of talked her through scenarios and how to say things and what to say and what not to say, and we coached her through the whole entire thing. And so she did a great job. Now it's time for her to call her biological mother. At this time, since Auntie was called first, Auntie was already on the family phone tree letting everybody know, we found her, we found her, we found her. So the biological mom was sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. She actually called in sick to work that day to sit next to the phone, hoping that she would call. And so our client called, and they had a great conversation, and there was a lot of tears, there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of similarities that were identified between the two, between the mom and the daughter and the half-siblings. It was just a really warm, wholesome, amazing moment that was super emotional, and it was great. It was fantastic. They have a really good relationship, and they're like best friends now. That's what she describes her relationship with their mom. They're best friends, and it's great. I love seeing the updates and the photos that she shares on Facebook of them. But that's it for today. I will see you guys later. Don't forget to hit like, follow, and share. Bye, guys.